You know, if you take everything I've accomplished in my entire life and condense it down into one day, it looks decent.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Decent Show. We're past the 30 episode mark. I don't really know which one we're on now. I feel like it's like 33 or something. Ryan Money here, joined as always with Reagan Horton. Reagan, how are we doing today on Hump Day?
Hump Day, good. Today I actually got some mail, and it was like a package, had my name on it, and I opened it up and I saw that like I had books in there, and I literally almost like checked my bank account and I was like, oh my god, someone's like stolen my identity. Like that's that was my immediate thought. Like I'm not even. This isn't even a joke. I was literally like, oh my god, someone's stolen my identity. I was like ordering stuff with my credit card because I would never order a freaking book. And it just turned out to be like a graduation like gift or whatever. But I was so dead set on just like, oh yeah, like
yeah, there's been a breach.
Yeah, there's been a breach. Something has gone terribly wrong. There's no other reason I would have a book.
Yeah, the package with my name and book. Obviously, there's a
huge confusion.
Yeah, nerdy identity thief out there trying to read up. Well, that sounds good. What else is going on? Any other? Because everybody loves a package.
Exactly. Watched the NBA Finals tonight.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen that. That would have been something.
No, you didn't.
Okay, yeah.
It was.
I mean, Steph Curry had the night of his life, but sports and beer and women and chicken wings and stuff.
Yeah, honestly, it just like I was super hyped for it. Then, like right before the game started on ESPN, it was like breaking news that it was announced that like Klay Thompson wasn't going to play. And I was like, well, that's freaking it then. And, you know, it pretty much was. The Raptors pretty much had a 10-point lead the entire game. And, like, Curry was a beast. Curry was out there balling. I don't like him, but he was playing really well. But the game was almost never in question. Like, they would get hyped and the crowd would get into it because they'd come within 8 or 6 or something, but then it'd go back up to 12 or 14. So, I don't know. Not a whole lot to say on this game. It was really boring, and honestly, I just hate it because either Golden State isn't going to win the championship, and they have the better team, so they should win the championship, or the Raptors are going to win the championship, and a lot of people are going to put an asterisk next to it because, like, I don't know, it just seems wrong, you know. I hate that idea, you know. I wanted it more. If the Raptors were going to win, I wanted it to be like the Mavericks when they beat LeBron, you know. Like there was no excuse. Like they just outplayed him, you know. Whereas like there's just so many excuses built in on this one.
Still early though. I mean, if Thompson was rumored to play Game 3 and didn't, I would assume he'll play Game 4 then at this point, unless it's worse than we think.
I think they're doing the same thing, honestly. But I mean, yeah, you're right. Who knows at this point? At this point, I'm pretty sure like Kevin Durant is out. Like he's torn his Achilles. I think they're just hiding it, and they just keep saying like maybe next game, maybe next game. Like he's traveling with the team, but it's all bull. Like he's done. Like he's
so
really
you assume
messed up.
It's Achilles.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Or it's like the worst calf strain in the history of calf strains.
There's no way it's a calf strain. But yeah,
but you're saying that the injury is worse than it is, no matter what. Like
no matter what. Yeah.
It's not the fact that he's not going to play for them next year.
No, it's not that. Because, like, whenever you see, there's, like, some behind-the-scenes footage of, like, him talking to Curry before he goes out there. And, like, you can just tell by the way he's moving. Like, he kind of looks like an old man. Like, he doesn't look like he's very agile.
Damn. Isn't that illegal to do what they're doing?
Fake an injury or not
lie about an injury or something?
Injury. I don't know. There's some loophole or I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll fine him when the season's over or something, but yeah. I don't know.
Well, so I mean, do you think Klay will play Game 4 though?
Yeah, probably, but I don't know how good. I don't know if he'll be 100% by then, because this is like the one time where they don't wait a year and a half to play another game. Another game is on Friday, so that's not that much more time for him to rest. And it did look like he looked very pissed and upset when he hurt his hamstring. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I mean, I still
it's
want.
just very lame. It's just a very lame way to end the NBA season.
Yeah, but nobody has any control over that, and I still want the Raptors to win. I don't want it to be like this, but we'll see what happens. I mean, if Thompson's back and Curry has that great of a game, I mean, if Thompson contributes at all, I mean, probably still keep it close.
Yeah.
But and then you got to hope for the best in Game 5. But I don't know. But I agree with you. There would probably be an asterisk if the Raptors win and it's because of Warrior injuries. That would not be good. But I don't know. Ring's a ring.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I mean, again, it's not like they cheated. It's
No.
not the Raptors' fault.
No, it's not. I mean, yeah, that's one good point. It's not like they did this; it just happened.
Yeah. So, drink milk.
Well said. You got anything else to say before we get into our little review?
Sports. No, not really. It looks like Kawhi had a good game. Curry had a great game. I missed it. I was watching this thing that they call a movie instead. So, and that's what we're gonna review. We're gonna review Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
All right, let me get us started here because you texted me in the middle of this movie
Summer kickoff.
and you said, "I hate it already. I'm doing this for the podcast."
Yeah, and that was like 30 minutes into the movie. I meant to send you that text like 15 minutes before that.
It was a 7:15 movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I got there 7:15 is when technically, the previews start. I got there about 7:33 and it had just finished the opening credits. Like I could not have been more on time. I did not give this movie the respect of showing up
on time or early or whatever.
Yeah, essentially on time or early. I showed up 7:33. It starts going as soon as people start talking. I'm like, oh god, I've made a huge mistake. Like now, the first thing that kind of pissed me off is I walk into the building, and so I've got my phone out because I purchased my ticket online just because I was like, man, I swear I'm going to show up just hoping to buy a ticket, and it's going to be sold out for some reason because this movie is relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
Technically kids are out of school. I was like, I just don't know. So I just went ahead and bought a ticket online. I show up, dude, there's nobody even working. Like, there's nobody there to scan my ticket. Like, I jokingly scanned my own ticket. And, like, at first I, did it as a joke. And, these people behind me were like, nah, go ahead and do it. And I was like, do I have to? And they go, why not? And I, scan it and it beeps. And, the tickets don't come out. And I was like, well, look at me go. And they're like, oh, he said, look at him go. And he walked off. And no tickets came out because I wasn't logged in. I didn't have my employee card. They didn't give me one when I decided to start working there. And so then I just had to walk up and down the theater and find the sign that said Godzilla 7:15. And I walk in that bitch and realize that I had wasted $8 because nobody scanned my ticket.
Could have just gone for free, yeah.
Could have just gone for free. Could have just walked in. Nobody cared. Thinking about doing that for any future movies that we see. Definitely see them during the weekdays and just risk it. Risk not buying a ticket because that was a waste of $8 right there. And I saw the beginning of the movie though, so now and I was gonna text you basically immediately, but I couldn't get my phone to lower the brightness like I wanted it to. I got the brightness all the way down, but it was still too bright. I wanted that night mode, and I couldn't find it on my phone. And I ended up just getting up out of my seat and going to basically the door to send you that text. So I could have easily sent you that text 15 minutes sooner than what I did.
So you were literally 5 to 10 minutes into this movie when you were like, all right, I already hate this.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I already know it's going to happen. I don't like it. Let's go. I'm good. The only point of staying is for the action.
Yeah.
That was all this movie had. So now let me let you talk about it. Let's hear what you have to say. You get this text. You sound like you enjoyed the text. That's the most ha's I've ever seen you use. So
I just thought it was funny because I was mentally thinking, I was like, yeah, Money's probably just now starting that movie. Because I was at Jordan's watching the game, so I was like, yeah, I gotta leave here around 10 or so. And like I was like, yeah, probably 10's good because I was watching the clock, and I was like, he's already texted me about this movie. I bet he didn't even get to see it for some reason, or he just didn't want to. And but sure enough, you're like, yep, I'm watching it, and I hate it.
Yeah.
um, it was beautiful. Yeah, I've never watched a movie and just seen them do something so right, and then pretty much everything else just so wrong. Like I just don't understand why. I mean, normally movies just suck all around, and that's just the way they are, you know. But like
What did they do right?
I thought the monster action when you could see it was really awesome.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was like really hyped. I really wish they'd do something different with the. This is gonna sound like a really big nitpick, but I wish they'd do something different with the music. Because like in Avengers or something or Star Wars, you get like that great like that music in the background, like that score that like whenever the Millennium Falcon shows up on the screen or whenever Captain says like Avengers Assemble, and you get like that I don't know, I want to say like beat drop or something, Like
Yeah, no, I
in this movie,
understand.
they did like it was like they were doing. I'm guessing it's like Japanese music. I don't know, but it just sounded like Japanese music because it was just like lame, and
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be lame because Godzilla looks like a freaking boss. Like, and there's really awesome looking shots like where he's just shows up on the scene and there's like 1,000 jets behind him, or like he finally goes face to face with this monster. He's like charging it, or all that stuff. Like looked really cool, and I was just like, just throw the music in there and make it so much more hype.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I was definitely laughing at the music bed that they'd have. I was like they would play the music bed, and I was like, wow, that is like the most try hard of like I want to be dramatic here, but it sounds like shit. And so I just found myself laughing throughout the movie, and honestly having to close my eyes just to avoid embarrassment. I was like, I don't want anybody to see me here. Like, this is.
That's money. He went and saw Godzilla. I thought this was the
Yeah,
same guy that had good movie taste.
yeah, like this guy calls himself a critic and he's watching this dumpster fire with shitty music beds. Like, oh God, so definitely gonna unsubscribe to Decent Show because obviously I subscribed immediately and now I regret that.
That's Ryan Money of Suicide Squad fame. The
Yeah,
movie that puts you on the map.
yeah. Oh, Reagan, you're funny. That's funny. But yeah, so it was yeah, very anticlimactic music beds. Like they were trying to be dramatic and
Swing and a miss.
suspenseful, and huge miss. So.
Um, I also liked like they kept doing this thing in this movie where I don't know. I'm just gonna use a very basic example to make fun of it. It's like, dude, he's got like a cheeseburger and like he put like bacon on the burger, so it's almost like it's a bacon cheeseburger, and then it'd be called a bacon cheeseburger. Like they would say something like it's almost like he shoots some form of electricity, and then it'd be like, yeah, he shoots form of electricity, like we got it, like it's like they would always say it's almost like, and that exact thing after that came out of their mouth was literally exactly what was happening. It wasn't
Oh yeah, kind
almost.
of like when they're like, a tropical storm can't move that fast
It's almost
unless
like it's a monster
he's
moving it.
yeah. It's almost like he's the storm. He is, and it's like, oh yeah, like, oh man, what a what a shitstorm. I was gonna say I like pardon my French, but fucking hate the white haired guy that's like manning the
Yes.
map. He's like metrosexual, making the funny comments, around the water
Yeah.
cooler, like, oh, open the shields. Open the shield for Godzilla. Show him our tits, and the guy's like, yeah, why don't we invite him in for a beer? Yeah, let's have him inside. Yeah, what do you got in your goddamn mind? It's like, okay, calm down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much they're paying you for this movie, but it's too much because you can't act. And he did that throughout the whole movie, and I hated him. And do you know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh, dude, I was literally about to be the next thing to come out of my mouth because me and Jordan were roasting him, and we kept calling him Russo Senior, um, which is like really inside because the people that directed Infinity War and Endgame are the Russo brothers, and one of them is in game. He's like the guy who's talking to Captain America at like the little circle. You know what I mean? Their little support group. He's talking to him. If you can
Okay.
remember it all.
Yep,
Anyway,
yep.
anyway, we called him Russo Senior because he just looked like the father of that guy. Like he just looked like an older white hair version of that guy, and we just kept like dumping on him because he was so annoying, and they just gave him so many lines, so many one-liners or just things here and there. It was insane.
Yep. Him and the guy who is in Silicon Valley and the Verizon commercials.
Yep.
Yep, him. Yeah, those two guys, holy cow. Like, they were just like, hey, we want you to say these really stupid lines, but we want you to use kind of like a witty tone as if you're trying to be funny.
Go for that awkward humor. Go for that super awkward, you know.
It's not going to be funny, but we really want you to say it. And say it funny. And you know, bless their heart, man. They tried. Jokes sucked. You know, just I'm trying to think of the most specific example. They had a couple of one-liners, and like I think the most dramatic moment. I wish you could remember, because I know I'm not going to. The most dramatic moment, they dropped like the most stupid, cheesiest, obvious one-liner, and now I can't remember it. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? Towards the end of the movie, it's like the most climactic part.
No, I can't. There were so many, dude. I don't know how you could pick out just one. Like there was just everything. Every time those people had a line, I rolled my eyes.
Yeah. Oh well. Maybe it'll come to me. That, or I'll just have to like find a way to rewatch it. Go to like the end of the movie just to roast again. Because God, I'm not gonna sit through that down. But I didn't even make it through the first movie. I put on Godzilla 1 before trying to go to see.
Oh wow, it's commitment right
and,
there.
Yeah. And
see, that movie's not as bad, but it's more boring. Like it's just a really boring movie.
yeah.
Because there's no action until the very end, or like at least the last third.
Yeah, and I haven't really gotten there. I think I got about an hour 20 in, and like the DVD kept cutting out, and I had to take some pause breaks, and then I just ran out of time. But I was like, oh God, like this sucks. Like it really got me demotivated to see the second one, which is great. So
Make me feel bad, dude. Make me feel bad for making you go see this movie.
and that's what I was gonna ask you whenever we got on the mics together without going on air. I was going to ask you, why was this, of all the movies that have come out that, you know, we're both interested in seeing and reviewing, why was this the first one seen?
Because I knew you would hate it, and I'm not regretting it, because it's so funny to me right now how much you didn't enjoy that.
Yeah. I mean, we talked a lot, you know, about a lot of other movies that have came out before this movie that we could have seen, you know. We saw this. So
I don't know, dude. I thought it was gonna be a really fun movie. Honestly, I thought it was just gonna be like a dumb but really fun movie, and it was not at all. It was very boring. Like, just dude, some of the dumb decisions. I can't stand that. Like the idea that they do in movies now is like there's too much population and there's too much polluting and all this other crap.
yep.
So let's kill every single person, or 99% of the that'll save us. That'll be our savior. It makes no sense, the woman's plan in this movie, because it's just like,
Thank you.
it's just like, okay, but like after that, what are y'all gonna do? Because the monsters are still gonna be out there. Like, who says they're gonna stop? Makes no sense.
Yeah, there's no like plan to tame them. We're just gonna let them do what they want and hope that
they're gonna get frozen again, or what?
Yeah, that or whoever lives, they'll like let them keep living. They're like, okay, we're like tired of killing everybody. Like we can coexist. Like I don't know. Yeah, it makes no sense. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, the motives throughout the movie are stupid. The mom's stupid. Her motives are stupid. None of it makes sense. Like you said, yeah, we have to set them free because photosynthesis, grass is going to grow, volcanoes. Like, we need that shit right now. Like, we cannot wait. Let's do this right now. Let's release the monsters. Yeah. She's like, this is a guarantee. This is the most guaranteed thing we have is to release these monsters. Like, I've done the test. Like, I've done the simulations. I know that 8 monsters equals more plants and less crash. Like, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Why not just hold the world ransom and be like, "Hey, pick up your shit, or I'll release all this hell on you." Like, even that's just a better plan than
Yeah.
destroying the entire world.
Yeah, because then we can just, like, snipe her face off, like, steal her computer, and it's done. Like, I don't... It was insane. Yeah, the mom was insane. The motives made no sense. I already talked about how Cinemark took my $8. And so I remembered one of the lines too that stupid idiot guy said, Russo Senior. Whenever they're like, we have to recharge Godzilla with a nuclear bomb, and the guy's like, is it even gonna work? It's not like jump starting a car. You know, and it's like, oh, like somebody put a bullet in this guy. Like, we can get anybody else to read the map. Like, we don't need him.
Yeah, that was at the very end when they're like, "Yeah, we'll put a nuclear bomb in him," and like but only one person needs to do it. Who's gonna be? I'm like, I know who I'm voting for. Let's get this guy out of this movie, and of course it's not.
And that's what I saw in both Godzilla movies. They were like, hey, we have no idea why. Like, computer systems are failing. This is a climactic part of the movie, so the computer is not going to work. And so in both movies, it's like, okay, manual override. Both that phrase is used in both movies. They're like, okay, manual override. Can somebody die in this scene? Like, can we do that? And so that's what they did. They're like, yep, shit's not working. We have all these computers. Obviously, they're broken because Godzilla is a walking EMP, apparently. But yes, manual override. Somebody can die this scene. Let's do it. And, Hiroshima or whatever his name is, I feel like that's offensive to say, but I'm only going to say it the once.
So it's okay.
So, yeah, just the one time. Because he mentions it. He's like, I got this watch in 1944, and they're like, oh, Hiroshima, and he's like, I know, oh, Godzilla, like, this is a Godzilla movie, and so, anyway, he decided to sacrifice himself, and I think that's just the tops, because, like, the whole time, too, I was like, I just pictured this nuke being much bigger. I don't know why. I was like, is his submarine the nuke? And then he, like, parks and gets out and, like, carries the nuke up the rocky steps and lays it in front of Godzilla.
And why couldn't he have just left then? Why couldn't they have set the timer to a longer time?
Yeah, and I thought that's what the plan was to begin with. And they're like, nah, like, as soon as he steps in that radiation, like, he's screwed.
Like, he
But
can't
he's
even
like
try.
walking around and taking his mask off and going, petting him and dropping bombs. Like, yeah, I think he could have just, longer timer and tried to get out of there. The other thing too, though, is when they got out of there, it's like, why were they like barely far enough away? And then, like, of course, they don't just get disintegrated; they get propelled. It's like the bomb gives them a little boost out of there. And Brad, or whatever the main guy's name is, who I hate, he's like fucking sea level action hero, like C level, like C minus James Bond or something. This idiot. Like, he makes Brandon Fraser look like a good actor. Like, this guy is ridiculous. So he, like, gets blown up in an earlier part, and he, like, just throws up Wakanda forever and, like, hits a metal crate. And I'm like,
Yes, dude.
okay.
Yes.
It's like, what? like,
Made no sense.
I like how these explosions just propel people and, like, they're not dying or getting disintegrated. Like, nah, it's just a little boost. You can fly. You fly, Billy.
Yeah, he
And
was blown into a storage container like at hundreds of miles or 100 miles an hour or something like that, and it just like, ow, man, that hurt. Dang it! Like, that's all that happened from that. Like, he was perfectly fine. I was like, that was bull.
mild concussion. Give me a frozen bag of peas here. Gotta ice this bad boy.
What's your beef with Brandon Fraser's acting?
He's a piece of shit. The Mummy, Journey
Bro,
to the Center of the Earth. I mean, what more do I need to say?
the Mummy's a good movie, dude.
That's what I said. He sucks.
Oh, okay. I heard it differently the first time.
Yeah. I don't know. Check your audio. But yeah, I don't know. I just hate his face and his acting, and I hate every role that I've seen him in. So
okay.
And this guy
It was
like,
worse than that. It was the stunt double for Brandon Fraser.
Yeah, no, this guy, fucking great value, Brandon Fraser. He's like, I hate Godzilla, I hate everything. We must kill all the monsters. And then like 5 minutes later, he's like, open the shields for him. Let's bend over for him. Let's show him we love him. You know, it's like we were just talking about killing him and hating his guts. And I love it how like Godzilla, like, they think Godzilla's dead. And it like has nothing to do with great value Brendan Fraser, but Hiroshima's like, I guess you got your wish. Godzilla's fucked up. And, Brendan Fraser's like, feels bad about it. He's like, I don't get it. Like, I hated the tension in this movie was so weak. You could cut it with a plastic butter knife. I mean, it was awful. Yeah.
Oh my, it really didn't start you out great that you had to pay for that ticket that you didn't really have to pay for, did it?
Yeah. I mean, well, because I paid the online convenience fee, thinking it's going to be sold out. Jesus Christ, they're lucky they had anybody show up for this thing. What the hell? What the hell am I thinking sold out? Everyone's like, oh, you side Godzilla? Like, that's really nice of you to support them. Like, shit, I should have just gone on their GoFundMe page. I don't know why I gave my Cinemark.
Wow. I did think it was really dumb whenever they're on a bridge face to face with each other and he's like, hey, come here. Like, I got a gun. Like, it's okay. You can come with me. Like, I'm pointing it at the bad guys. And then she just blows up the bridge. And that could have killed them both easily. Like, I thought that was, like, really funny. Because I was just like, so in order to save everyone here, you set off the bomb that he's trying to stop you from setting off. And there was really no guarantee that...
This is Brendan Fraser and the mom, or?
Yes. This is Brendan Fraser and the mom.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell how memorable the movie is because we don't know their freaking names. I think it was Emma and Brad.
Sure. And they're like, you're there face to face when they discover the three-headed one. And like he shows up there with a pistol and he's face to face with them and like he's like asking his daughter to come across the bridge and then she takes the detonator and then sets it off. And then they go their separate ways.
You know what I like too when she does, and now I know what scene you're talking about. When she does that, she's like, I'm sorry, run! And she like presses it and they both stand there for 10 seconds and nobody runs. It's like, what the fuck? Like, she doesn't even run. Like, it takes like 5 or 10 seconds of them like looking and the camera switching and then they're like, okay, now we can run. Like, it was great.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Dude, I just had something else about it too. Whatever.
Take your time.
Yeah, thank you. I have so much to say. I wish I could have constantly
been taking notes, dude. You would have been run out of data in that theater.
Oh, I would have been. Yeah, I would have probably gone through all the ink and a pen, writing all these notes, taking notes.
Yeah, but the monster action
was... Say more bad things about it, and it'll help me remember.
The monster action was good, but they did this thing where anytime it was happening, there was also something that was happening that was important with people. And I say important.
And it's not, yeah.
But it's not, because nothing is important as two monsters fighting. That is easily the most important thing that could ever be shown on screen. It would be like in the Avengers if when Captain America like gets all of his army and goes all the way across that field to fight Thanos, and it cuts away to Ant-Man like hot wiring the car, and we just keep going back and forth, like 15 times, and it's just shown in the background. Like, that's how irrelevant it is, or like how dumb it is that they're showing some of the stuff they're showing. Like, I just remember being like, get back to the damn monsters. Like, I'm so tired. Like, I waited this whole time to see the monsters. And when you get there, at least have the decency to like stay on them for like that very brief amount of time. Like when they first release like the three-headed one, and it fights Godzilla, and they really don't even fight. It just they meet each other and they're like going after each other, And then it zooms in on all these other characters trying to fly away in these helicopters and trying to get the bomb, and like, oh my god, like, why would you do that, mom? Like, oh my god, that was dad. What was he doing here? Blah blah blah. Like, we're having all this dialogue and ways to further the plot of the humans while the monsters are fighting. Like, I'd way rather see that. Please just show that. I don't want to see them have this stupid relationship. Like, it just, oh, it was so dumb. Also, really was weird when the beginning of the movie where he's photographing wolves and he's not that far away and he has no gun, it looks like. So, what's to stop those wolves from just tearing him apart? I don't understand how that is safe in his job at all. That he just gets that close and just takes pictures of them.
Well, he's wearing camouflage.
Yeah, I know, but they're just gonna look that direction and just kill him? Like, what's the deal?
Well, as long as he stands still, he can't be seen. So.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Never mind. This movie's fake.
Yeah. No, it's ass. And then the other thing I was gonna say too, I feel like I had two negative things to say, and you reminded me of both of them, but I can only seem to remember one. In both movies, I realized, and a lot of movies are victim of this. It's not like Godzilla's the first to, make big mistakes. The dramatic timing of things is amazing. Like, for example, I mean, I know we're talking about the second movie, but in the first movie, Bryan Cranston is like, hey, you guys are going to regret this stuff. You're making big mistakes. You're hiding something and you're going to regret it. Okay. And they're like, you're crazy. And then literally the second they say that, like, the power goes out and the earth starts rumbling.
Yep.
And it's like, can the dramatic timing get any better there? And like both movies do that. And like whenever the mom decides that she's going to sacrifice herself, which was kind of whatever. Like, I guess she could have just thrown the beacon and jumped in the helicopter since they were following the beacon. But she's like, no, I'm going to run to the helicopter, make you guys cry, and then go, nah, I'm going to stay. And that's what she does. And then she drives off in the Jeep. And, like, they're watching, they're flying away, and they're supposed to be flying away pretty quickly. It looks like they've got a pretty good distance, and she's, like, driving a pretty good distance. And this is going on for a good minute. And, like, the second she gets zapped, like, the three-headed monster is zapping quite a bit, Monster Zero or whatever. And he finally hits her, and, like, the kid and the dad are like, oh, she's dead, and they're crying. And it's like, how can you see that far away? Like, it's like, how do you know that that's the one that fucked her up? Like, there's all these buildings, debris, fire. You're flying far away. She drove far away. It's raining. But they're like, yep, that was the death blow. Like, there she goes. Like, I don't know. Just the dramatic timing and great vision throughout both movies is amazing.
What really bugged me about it was that whenever she's driving away in that Humvee, she's struck by a bolt of lightning, and the Humvee itself is struck by it. And then it topples over a few times, and then she gets out. I'm like, okay, let's pretend like it didn't just vaporize you with this massive lightning bolt, and like the car didn't explode, and then it toppled over. But then you survived that, and then you've survived several rollings, and you just casually get out of the car. Like, it's just so annoying. And you're right, like the tension does like very conveniently. I feel like there was like 5 or 6 times in this movie whenever a monster would get really close to eating someone or something, and then another monster would come and attack it, or like a missile would hit it or something, and it would get distracted.
Every time.
Every time.
Jurassic World sequel did the same thing. And every time you're like, oh no, so-and-so character I'm supposed to care about is about to get eaten by a monster. Oh, another monster. And like Jurassic World 2 did that. This movie did that. And yeah, whenever it's just so predictable like that, how do you get around that? Like, you just, I don't know. You don't care, you're not surprised, but then what else are they supposed to do?
I don't know. I just wish that they wouldn't go to that so many times. There's nothing wrong with it, but just it's every time, or it's most of the time. It's overkill. It's just there's no tension anymore, because there's tension that first time, and then maybe if you saved it till the end of the movie and did it again, but you do it like every time there's a monster unleashed, basically. Because they did it when The mom was about to get eaten at the very end of the movie. Godzilla came and saved the day. The dad was about to get eaten, or a soldier or someone was about to get eaten on that ice Antarctica, and Godzilla came and saved him from Monster Zero. Like that bird one was about to eat the ship, and then it was attacked by that other bird one at the last second, the Monster Zero one, and I don't know, like that just, yeah, I got tired of that. I don't know, just trying to think of things. I mean, like anytime that there was a monster and I could see what was going on, I was like super in. I was like, this is cool, this is dope. I'm digging this. Like I like the way they all look. They announced like there was like a 15 or 17 or whatever, and you saw them like come out of the ground and whatnot. But that was in the trailers, and that was essentially all most of them were, because they don't show up until the very end of the fight, and then they don't even do anything.
Yeah.
So that was disappointing.
Yeah, it's kind of a recurring theme throughout the movie. They had another example of the map guy. I thought of another classic line of his. I can't remember what scene it is. They're all so forgettable, but they were like flying through the air and there's monsters and stuff, and they have like it's whenever they're flying into the tropical storm. They're trying to like lead the one monster into the three-headed tropical storm monster, or whichever one. They're flying into the tropical storm, and they're like, 30 seconds until we're there, 10 seconds until we're there, and all that good stuff. And they've got like other flyers with them who are getting kind of knocked out, and like literally the whole time they're doing it, like this guy's tone like doesn't change. I don't know. It was funny to me. He was just like, fighter down, up, another fighter down, ooh. And then like next thing you know, everybody's dead. And he's like, we've lost the whole fleet. 30 seconds until we get there. We lost the whole fleet. 10 seconds until we get there. Everybody's dead. We're about to be there. Like, it's just like, I don't know. Like, just the way he said it, I thought was, just hilarious. It was almost like he almost said it like in his joking tone. Like I felt like his joking tone was so bad that I heard it throughout the movie. So he's like, we lost the whole fleet. LOL. 30 seconds. Like beam me up, Scotty. Like I just thought he was gonna, just say stupid shit like that. I just thought his performance or writing for his character was atrocious. I feel like his character was the same as I didn't even see the Meg, but I would say Dwight's character in the Meg is pretty much almost the same as this guy.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. So.
I remember another thing. I can't remember the exact line, but Russo Senior, whenever they were talking about like Mothra, and they were talking about like, oh, her and Godzilla like know each other, and they've like been together before, and someone's like, oh, like in a, I don't know, like they use like a medical term for like sexually, and he's like, man, you gotta get it on or something. Like he says like something weird like that, and I'm just like, yes, thank you for adding that. That was both funny and didn't make me uncomfortable.
Yep. And you reminded me too, Great Value, Brendan Fraser had another one like that. They're like, he's like, one monster was coming to another monster, and he was like, he's coming based on that call. That call is attracting him. He's either here for food or to fight or to, something more intimate. And it's like, why didn't you just say for food, fight, or fuck like you wanted to? Like, you had a perfectly good line there, and you didn't use it, and instead you went with the PG route that you thought would be funny. It wasn't. And I don't get it. And that was Great Value, Brendan Fraser. That wasn't Russo Senior. But honestly, if we have like worst actor of the year awards, I'd love to throw both of those guys in there for the end of season award show, like most decent awards of the year, whatever. And nominees for worst actors would definitely go to those two guys right there. I'd say they're in the running right now.
I'd say like what we should do is like you should have a best movie, a worst movie, and then like a most decent movie. And then whatever you want to name, any other award, you make it up and you can give it to whatever movie you want. So if you want to name one on the worst actor award and you want to give it to all three of them, yeah, be my guest.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. I mean, it's going to be a tight race. Like, those guys all tried really hard to do a bad job with a bad movie.
And they knocked it into the park.
Yeah, they knocked it all over the park. Like, nobody in the stands is going home with the ball tonight. Like, it's definitely staying in the field.
You think there's people in the stands?
Yeah, good marketing will fool anybody.
Okay, all right. Man, what else to say about this movie? I don't know if you caught it, but next year they're coming out with Godzilla versus King Kong, and they hinted
Okay,
at it
okay.
they hinted at it in this movie like 5 or 6 times.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't think you noticed because you probably didn't know that, but if I had told you that going in, because they're looking at the screen of like all the different monsters and it's flashing through them real quick, and then it spends like an extra 5 seconds on the one of King Kong, and they're like, yeah, they're all different. And one of them says like, yeah, they're all different shapes and sizes. Even one of them's a giant monkey. Like
Yeah, I
they just
heard
keep
that too.
adding to it over and over and over again. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was a little too much. I don't know, man. There's really not a lot to talk about in terms of positive things in the movie.
Yeah, they were definitely missing those when they made the movie. They forgot the positives.
Dang, classic mistake.
Yeah, classic. But definitely the monster action was good, like you said, when they showed it, because I was blown away. I was like, how much money did they save by cutting to this helicopter shot when there's a monster fight going on right now? Because, like, they know everybody would rather see the monster fight. Like, I feel like it's got to come down to money.
Yeah, I think it is
Like,
too.
to not show more.
I would hope it's money. If it's just like an artistic choice, like I feel like you're even dumber because if you're not out to save money and you're just making a worse product, like what the hell are you doing, you know?
That's exactly what I'm getting at. Makes no sense. So, and to me, that's the problem with both movies. And I would say that both these Godzilla movies, San Andreas, 2012,
Rampage.
uh, Rampage, that was the other one, Rampage. They all fall into the same problem. They have to have somebody as the main character. There has to, and maybe not so much in Rampage. I mean, Rampage was a bad movie, but especially in like San Andreas and both these Godzilla movies, there has to be like a family that we're centered around that's got some kind of family trauma, and the end of the world is going to bring them together. I think the same thing happens in Skyscraper. Just all that shit. Like, I
Yeah.
could give a shit less about the family. Like, nobody cares about the family. Like, we're coming here for the action. Maybe throw in some comedy if you can.
Us
Throw in
assholes
some
have to stick
one-liners.
together.
Yeah, but like make it good, like try to actually be like, try to get somebody that knows what comedy is, that has a concept of what a joke is. Be like, hey, can you write a joke or two for this movie so that we can have a variety of emotions here and maybe entertain our viewer for a change?
You don't feel like this movie did that?
No, they skipped that completely. Like, just like literally, dude, like whenever they tried to be funny, like there was a fair amount of people in the theater. Like, not there's plenty of seats, but like considering bad movie on a Wednesday night, like there was, and an NBA playoff game going on, like there was quite a few people in the theater, and like nobody laughed. I think one guy laughed at one thing, and I don't even know if it was intended to be laughed at. But like there was no audible laughter in this movie, and they tried to be funny multiple times, and it was not good. So
Did you stay for the post credit scene?
hell no. Like
Yeah. Okay.
literally the second
It
the
was
credits
over.
came on, I was the first guy out of the theater. I leaped and I like ran. I couldn't wait.
Um. Basically, the old dude basically bought and found the head that was ripped off that monster, and earlier in the movie.
What old dude, the bad guy?
Yeah, the bad guy.
Yeah, what a great bad guy too. What great motives. Hey, I'm a random guy with guns who believes in monsters. You said you wanted to save the world with monster photosynthesis. I provided the guns.
It is not photosynthesis.
Exactly. And he's like, I provided the guns for you to do this. Don't back out now. Your 11-year-old daughter is a piece of shit. Let's shoot her.
What did you think about the daughter in the movie?
Uh, like, honestly, you could have said that was her son, and I wouldn't have known the difference. I didn't know what was going on there. That kid was a dweeby little fuck. I don't know. That was definitely a gender-neutral kid, in my opinion. I feel like they could have done whatever they wanted there.
Excellent work.
What do you think of all these things?
Yeah, villain was pretty stereotypical. It's funny you mentioned both Rampage and Skyscraper. I feel like if you didn't say the names and you just had to describe what these villains did and what they were about, it would be hard for me to differentiate them because they're just so generic and one like half dimensional, not even like a full dimension. They're like half D basically.
Oh yeah.
Because they're just like, yeah, I came out of nowhere and I hate the world and let's make these monsters run loose.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem very well thought out. I don't know. Yeah. Very weak stuff. I don't know. It is. I really don't understand why he like decided to find the scientist lady, and how he was able to convince her so easily that this was the right way and that she believed it so fully, and then an hour later was like, you know what, maybe I'm wrong. Just because she made like a tiny mistake basically, and I like how he's just like, yeah, we released all the monsters and we don't have control over the most powerful one. Actually, we don't have control over any of them because of that one. But everything's going according to plan. I'm just like, that is not the plan. There's no way that's gonna work. That doesn't make any sense. You went from being able to completely control these things to have no control over any of them at all. Like that's a massive differentiator in your plan. And so the plan was stupid. I don't know, dude. Like, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like they said the thing about the nuclear thing where Godzilla was gonna blow up,
Yeah.
and basically just he just explodes and it does damage to everyone else besides him. So I don't, and then it's gone. So like they were completely wrong about that. No one ever commented on it. It was just over. Because they're like, he's gonna explode, he's gonna die, basically. Like, oh no, that sucks. And then it just like it does like this little wave thing out of his stomach and destroys the other monster, and then it's over. And then he's fine, and then he just goes back into the ocean,
Oh God, dude. Yeah, I think you summed it up great. It was a great movie.
Yeah, I'm really glad I made you watch it. I think it was really funny. I guess to wrap up our discussion here, what would you give this movie?
I mean, honestly, I was really hard on it, and I think I just wanted to be. I mean, I really could give it Garbo if I wanted to. I'm feeling nice and kind of just giving it low-key Garbo because I didn't have high expectations. I kind of already knew before even seeing Godzilla 1 that this wasn't going to be like the best movie ever. And after seeing Godzilla 1, I lowered my expectations even more. And I watched it, and like, again, the monster action was good. There was quite a few big monsters, and they had quite a few scenes, and it was a 2 hour and like 10-minute movie, so I'll give it like a low-key Garbo. But still, it's kind of weird that they make so many of these movies, and they make them all the same. Like, and they're never that good. So it's like, why not make them different? Like, yeah, there's got to be a way to make these movies better. And if you can't, do we really need to keep making them? Like, but I mean, I guess people keep going to see them, but is the money worth it? I don't know. It's just poop movies.
So you're gonna give it a low-key Garbo?
Yeah.
I'd say barely low-key Garbo. I think the monster action is great, and I'd love to see it again, but I would never want to endear the rest of this movie to have to get to that. Yeah, I just very low-key Garbo, very, very low-key Garbo. So that being said, do you think it's better or worse than Rampage?
Oh God. Whichever one's shorter is better. Because honestly, I'd have to see him again to give you a more accurate answer, and I have zero interest in seeing either one of those movies again. So I would say Rampage is close just because The Rock is better than Great Value Brendan Fraser.
Of
But
course.
I would say that, maybe the monster fighting was a little better in this Godzilla. And I don't know. I just thought it was funny how they were like, oh, that's Queen Albie, Queen of the Monsters, obviously. And, they're like, oh, of course. And there's the queen and the king, and they don't even bang, but like the owl dies and the fairy dust like gets into Godzilla and he becomes even more powerful. And the other thing I was gonna say is the very first fight he has with the three-headed monster, he opens fire at point
And misses
blank
it, yeah.
range. He's got three heads to shoot at. Nobody gets hurt.
Nobody's hurt.
And then he just gets annihilated. I was like, what a piece of shit. Like, I don't know. So yeah, that was one of my other complaints. Let me make sure I don't have any other last minute complaints before we wrap up here. But I mean, what do you think? So you gave it a low-key Garbo as well.
Better than Rampage for me easily, but
Better than Rampage
I don't
easily.
care about The Rock, and I don't care about him as much as you do. And the monster action is better.
No, you don't care about him, dude. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
whatever.
you're right. Yeah, good call.
Yeah,
Good
he
call.
doesn't like you either.
Would you say it's better or worse than the first one?
What?
Godzilla 2 or Godzilla 1?
No opinion. They're both bad.
Okay, I'm gonna go with this one again. I just think there's more of this.
This one's better.
I think there's more action. Yeah, I think there's more action in this one. Therefore, it is better because
Then
that
I
is
agree
the
with
best
you
part of both
because I
movies.
didn't like the first one.
Yeah, the first one's really slow and boring. This one is just bad and slow and boring.
Yeah.
Massive step up, massive improvement.
Massive.
Obviously, I got to ask you: is it better than Suicide Squad?
Well, it is a movie. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I'd say it's better than Suicide Squad.
All right. Well, we've yet to find a movie that you dislike more than that one.
Well, yeah, it's tough, dude. I mean, I'm gonna be, trying to avoid stuff like that, but you never know. I mean, Godzilla was pretty bad. I can always stumble upon a movie that can
Challenges
disappoint
at
me.
least.
Yeah, it's just, Suicide Squad is gonna be tough to beat because it's down there with these other movies in terms of quality, but like the expectations were so much higher. So it's like the fall is huge,
Yeah.
Godzilla is kind of just like a fall down the steps, This is like, Suicide Squad's like a fall off a cliff. It's gonna kill you. But I've got like this weird thing going on with my hip, and it's fascinating. I've got like potentially a spider bite or staph infection again, like I had on my leg, and I got like that crater in my leg. I went to the doctor today, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of like that Elaine episode where they're like, yeah, it's just a rash, should be fine. And I'm like, no, see, I had my leg cut open a couple years ago, and this feels like the exact same situation. They're like, yeah, but
They
no, it
don't
should be
care.
fine. Yeah, no, it should be fine. I'll give you a pill that's not going to work. You take that for a few days, and if it gets worse, then come see us again, for 2 hours. And so, not happy about that. It looks really funky. It seems to get bigger, like, every
Good
day.
lord, dude. I don't want to hear about this at all.
Why?
It's disgusting. I don't want to hear about it.
It's really not that bad. It just, it was itty bitty, and now it's just getting ever so slightly bigger, I don't know. Oh, and I didn't give you. Did I ever give you a poop update on this episode? Because it's getting out of hand, dude. I'm pretty sure I've had back-to-back days where I've taken 3 poops by 12 o'clock. The poops are waking me up. Like I can't even sleep in anymore. They're like, "Hey, get up and get out of here." And like sometimes they'll only be 20, 30 minutes apart, but it's like completely different poops. Like they feel completely different. They come out different noises, different smells, different textures. I mean, it's fascinating. And they're like 20 minutes apart. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, as always, thank you for filling me in. Thank you for bringing me up to date on that.
Yeah.
Always want to know about that. That is pretty wild that it's waking you up, though. I've literally never heard of that ever.
I wake up at like 7:30 every morning to like take a dump now, and I don't have to be up until like 8:30. I'm like, every time I wake up, I'm like, oh shit, I'm running late, huh? And I'm like, maybe it's 7:30, and it'll be like, yep, 7:30. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll try to go get this poop out, and I'll go poop, and then come back and go to sleep until 8:30 or whatever time it is to wake up.
Well, well, since I made before we get out of here, since I made you see this terrible movie,
Yeah.
what
Thank
is our
you.
next movie we're gonna watch, and is it going to be bad, and are you gonna just use it as payback on me?
Well, yeah, payback on you. I mean, I have to see it too. I mean, if you hate it, there's a good chance I hate it. So I'd say we're both suffering here. I don't know. I guess really just whatever you're willing to see that we can see. I mean, I would say if you forced me to pick, I would say Detective Pikachu or John Wick 3, but I didn't see John Wick 3 at the theater that I went to tonight. Is it still in theaters?
Um, yeah, probably barely.
Well, it'd be nice to get on one of those, but we might not be able to. Might have to just try to stream those and review them because I would like to review those. I think that they could definitely be candidates for most decent or some potential good moments and some potential worse moments like this movie.
Right now, I'm hunting for somebody to take the award away from Joe Russo Sr. Um, or
What
see
award?
or
Oh,
great
worst
value
actor?
Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
Yeah, great value, better Fraser. Yeah, I'm sure. I feel like Detective Pikachu could be a decent movie, or it could easily have a candidate or two for worst actor of the year to compete against uh, Joe Senior or whatever, and Great Value Frazier. So
Oh
there's
man.
what?
No, Dark Phoenix has like a 22% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh, that's another one. Okay, see that's the thing though. That movie just came out. I would be down to try to see something that might be on its way out that we're not going to get to see.
Okay.
Because Dark Phoenix is going to be there for
A minute, yeah.
at least a minute. We can maybe see that one next because that one's probably going to have plenty of fuel. Also, I need a chance to watch Apocalypse too, even though it probably won't matter because
It's
it
pretty
sounds like
garbage.
they're all
Very.
going downhill. Yeah.
Um, man, what was I gonna say? Ah, dang it, I forgot. Anyway, yeah, dude, that movie's gonna be 22%. That's lower than Suicide Squad, so that's not good.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Jeez, dude, it's like what makes them put the movie out? Like you'd think somebody would be like, ugh.
Well, once they get to the part where they spend a certain amount of money on it, they're just like put it out anyway, and like people will see the Marvel logo and they'll go see it, and
Yeah,
they'll make some. They may not make all their money back, but it's just like if you spend like $100 million on a movie and you never put it out, you just lost $100 million. But if you spend like 150 or something on it, and then you put it in theaters, maybe you'll get all your money back or half or something. Like you'll be in better shape. I heard
yeah,
they
no,
also
I
changed
can't
the
argue with
last.
that.
They changed like the last third of this movie because it was like very similar to Captain Marvel, which is interesting.
Yeah, what in what way?
I don't know. I don't think anyone has like specifics on it, but they reshot the entire ending of it just because it was so similar um to the Captain Marvel ending. Did you ever see the X-Men 3 where they tried to do this exact same story?
I saw the movie, but I don't remember what story you're talking about.
Dark Phoenix where like the Jean Grey just becomes like evil and kills everyone basically.
Oh, then yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like we've covered Jean quite a bit throughout this X-Men series. I've had enough of it.
You're done with it?
I'm pretty done with it. I'm pretty done with the X-Men and the fact that they had a whole timeline and then the timeline got undone by more recent movies and they keep making movies and they keep getting worse and um, yeah.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm really hyped for that line whenever I inevitably see it.
It's definitely probably line of the year. James McAvery or whatever his name is pretty
McElroy.
man. He's a pretty decent little actor there. but he doesn't know what to do.
No one is safe from the Brendan Fraser Award.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people could be candidates. A lot of bad acting going on this year, bad movies. So I'll definitely be on the lookout. Because I can't do what they do, so I love critiquing them and telling them how bad they are. That is my right as a fan.
True.
So
what else is there, you know?
Yeah, like if I can't shit on people for being better at something that I'm not good at, like what's the point? So yeah, no, a lot of bad acting in this movie, which you come to expect, and that's what I meant to say too about the fleet dying. It's like people are dying, and even like the characters don't care. That's kind of what I meant to say about Map Guys. He was just like, our fleet's gone, we'll be there in 30 seconds. It's like even he doesn't care that they're dead. Like we already don't care that they're dead because we didn't even know their names. But even the comrade is like, hey guys, LOL, fleet's dead. It's just us. Well, looks like we don't have to worry about caravanning anymore or anybody getting lost because they're all dead. LOL, like just us. And I think that's the problem with those movies is they have a hard time creating emotion or getting you to care about anything. So I feel like since they're not going to do it, they should just skip it. I think like the whole movie, I was thinking that it should just be like a spoof. Like if I were to make a Godzilla movie, I would make it a spoof movie to where whenever the monsters aren't fighting, like everybody's just saying and doing the most ridiculous things possible.
So it's
Like,
completely serious whenever the action's going on, like Godzilla's, he's killing people, ripping their heads off, he's stepping on
yeah.
people. Like it's horrifying stuff. It's really cool. But then it goes back to the people, and it's like we're like talking Naked Gun, like just complete stupidity and ridiculousness.
Yeah, and like just like obsessive cussing too. Like if I, especially because this reminds me, I'm gonna try to make like a double point here. Like when they're in Antarctica, Godzilla like busts up out of the ice, and they're on a ship or a plane or whatever that is on the ice, and not once do they like fall through the ice.
Mm.
Is there any crack? Like they're just in the middle of this monster fight on ice. It's already been broken by Godzilla making his entrance and everything's fine. Like everyone's above surface, no one's falling through. They're just in the middle of the fight like it's no big deal. And what was the thing we were talking about before that you were saying?
The Naked Gun humor? I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. And so, like, if that were me, like, if that were my movie, and I'm in the middle of this monster fight that's supposed to be intense on the ice, I'd be like, like, oh, you think that's exciting? You should feel these nipples, like, like it's freezing and like, oh fuck me, like I don't know, like I'd be saying stuff like that. I would not be like, oh, like where's my daughter? We got to get away. I'd be like, yo, fuck this, like I don't know, and like skate out of there. But
You
that's
just
just
like
me.
all this action's going on, all these explosions, and you just look to the guy next to you like, man, you think we should leave or something? Like
Yeah,
this party's kind of dead, you know?
yeah, exactly, something like that, or just like kind of like in Scary Movie where it's just like stupid. Like anytime somebody says something like, I'm not getting any readings on the seismic graph. Like, shut up! Just like that guy.
On the
Uh,
photosynthesis, remember that's the plot of the movie.
oh, yeah, like, yeah, whenever, yeah. It's like, yeah, Cindy, nobody cares about your stupid monsters photosynthesis and there's like endless amount of computers. Like, I love how there is an endless amount of computers that have an endless amount of readings and scans, and they're like, oh yeah, we can track we're able to track his movements and his heartbeat, and he's going through underground tunnels. We know all this stuff about him, and then they're like, oh, the ground trembled, systems are down, systems are failing. We have to manual override and shove a torpedo up Godzilla's ass so he can three-headed dragon from Dragon Ball Z or whatever the hell's going on there.
Well, I'm glad I made you see it. This was definitely worth it for me.
Same.
Very bad movie. Really enjoy your take on it.
Yeah. I learned a lot. So learned a lot about trust, Um, never trust anyone except your gun. But yeah, that's not it. It was ass, dude. It was Assilla. It was not Godzilla.
Well said.
Thank you, Reagan. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, man. No. Anyone
I
who's
try to-
listening, thanks for joining us. Gamble, thanks for the beats as always. Thanks for the helping us out on the editing. Working on a new show. Hopefully, we'll get that out soonish. We're kind of waiting on Gambeezy. So, yeah, dude, another great sode.
Yeah, another great sode. So yeah, you guys be on the lookout. 2020, we're gonna start doing episodes with Gamble, and he's a sweet kid though, dropping fire beats, and staying in that bathroom. I know he's been busy in there, definitely doing a lot more work pooping. So I'm really proud of him. All right, well, for Reagan Horton, I'm Ryan Money. You guys have a good night.
For his cut. Now, in our case, we know who the rich white man is. Stephen Rain. Who? Stephen Rain, the hotel billionaire. I saw him on Ricky Tan's boat. When the shooting started, he was way too cool. And I'm gonna tell you something. When people start shooting, white people ain't that cool. They either running around, hiding behind tables, or screaming like, ah!
You sound like that all the time.
Let me tell you something about black people. When stuff goes down, we keep our cool.
Maybe, but not like Asians. We never panic.
Yeah, right. When Godzilla's coming, y'all be tripping. I seen the movie. You be Gaia, Gaia,